So one of the main things you guys need to know about vitamins and amino acids is I don't think we should have 1,000 of this product sold. I think we should have 20,000 sold by the amount of time we have them. Vitamins and amino acids are crucial and are essential, and we're lacking them. We're not receiving them like we used to. And instead, we're buying products that are becoming more toxic to the body to try to reverse the symptoms that we're not getting by lacking the vitamins and amino acids. So whenever you're going to do a vitamin or an amino acid as a means of supplementation, you have to understand that your body has something that is called the intrinsic factor, right? The intrinsic factor is how your body bonds these vitamins and how it breaks it down. And vitamins can be broken down in two ways. There's water soluble and there's fat soluble. Okay? Water soluble are vitamins like B12, vitamin C. They tend to be broken down much easier. Your body can transport them through the bloodstream. But if the intrinsic factor is not, your body's not healthy enough, your kidneys are just gonna flush out all these vitamins. You're not gonna get any positive effect from it. You're not really gonna feel them. It's really not gonna do anything. And since it's flushing them out, you're still gonna be deficient on them. Now, fat-soluble vitamins, it's a little bit more complicated because if your body's not healthy enough, it's going to stay within a fat cell, so your body's not going to use it. That happens a lot with vitamin D. If you can get a little bit of the sun, and your body might be able to produce vitamin D. But if you're not healthy enough, basically it's not going to break down properly. So I believe 80% of the population is deficient on vitamin D, which is a huge problem when it comes to your immune system, when it comes to hormone productions, when it comes to, a lot of different problems within your biochemistry, and especially when it comes to wellness, okay? So, the deal that we have for Fit and Trim Medical is a combination of B complex, an amino acid called methionine, and something that is used as a means of fat burning that is called a lipotropic. It's called Lipo-Lean. And the way the B complex works, and that's a water-soluble vitamin, is vitamin B12 is essential when it comes to the production of red blood cells. Vitamin B12 is essential for ATP levels. Vitamin B12 is essential for extracting the energy from food source, so we can use that energy. Vitamin B12 it's very important in what we call the increasing antioxidant levels, and most of all, vitamin B12 it's a type of vitamin that your body doesn't produce. It's a vitamin that you have to get from other sources, especially from nutrition or supplementation. But most supplements that have B12 lack the capacity to break down properly. So even if you take them, your body's not really gonna bond with them properly. Okay, so whenever you're gonna do something with vitamin B12, make sure you do it in a way that is efficient. Make sure that you do it with a process, with a protocol, and that's what we created here in Fit and Trim. We created a whole process to make sure the intrinsic factor and the bonding factor is more appropriate for the absorption of the vitamin B12, and that takes first an assessment of you. It takes what we call a segmental analysis to understand, your BMI, your body fat percentage, if you have water retention, subcutaneous fat, your metabolic rate, checking your biochemistry, checking your vitamin levels. All those things can help us understand how we can make a program that's more efficient for you. I've had clients that come to us all the time, and they always tell me, Rick, I used to take the vitamin B12 10 years ago, and it felt different than it feels today. And I'm like, a lot of things can change in your body in 10 years. You really cannot say one thing that worked 10 years ago, it's going to work the same 10 years after, because your biochemistry is different. That's almost like if I used to work out when I was 20 years old in military school. Yeah, I could probably run much quicker. My physical performance was much better. But after 10 years, and as you get older, your body changes, your biochemistry changes, your muscle production changes, your hormones change. It's not going to be the same. So what the main message we want to get from our deal is, we don't want you guys to keep transacting on what we sell. we want you guys to become extremely mindful that anything we have as a deal, we want to make you participate for it, participate as a process, not as a product. Vitamin B12 should never be treated as just one product. It should be treated as a therapy. It should be treated as a process. And when you do the process in the right way and you have the right protocol, all of a sudden your body gets all these net benefits. It starts getting healthier. You start lowering oxidation, inflammation, irritation. Your body's immune system becomes strong. Things that can be reversed, which 90% of our public medical issue can be somewhat reversed if we just have lifestyle changes. Okay? So, the 3 key points that I made today. I'm going to just erase this 1,000. And I'm going to give you guys those 3 key points if you want to write them down and figure them out. You can research this. Mind you, this is just 1,000 deals that we sold. We've worked with at least over 10 to 15,000 patients. You know, this is just a specific deal that it's just been very, very successful, I guess, the way we present it. So, number 1, what I talked to you guys about. The most important thing you have to know about vitamin and amino acids is that in order for you to get any result from it, your body has to bond with it. Okay? The intrinsic factor has to be working. And the intrinsic factor, like I mentioned to you, is how healthy is your body. Like the bacteria from your saliva matters, the acidicity of your stomach and your gut matters. So bonding, it's very important. So sometimes you find that friend that does B12 and she's like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever had. And then you find somebody that says, well, that didn't do anything for me. And what you got to find is everybody's body's different. Okay? Number 2, everything should be a therapy. Everything has to be a therapy. I have not met one person that's gotten fit by working out once a month or even once a week. Everything has to have a process. Everything has to have a protocol and a hyper-focused protocol. Okay? And number 3, last but not least, when B12, you have to know that there's different types of B12. And some of the B12s that don't bond with in a certain way, you might have to try another one that bonds more with you. So you have to know the type of vitamin or the type of, in this case with this deal, is the type of B12. So you have cyanocobalamin, you have methylcobalamin, you have hydroxycobalamin. There's a bunch of vitamin B12s out there, and they're basically they're called cobalamin because that's how they bond. But these are the main components whenever you're going to work with our type of deal. Okay, so if you guys have any more questions, feel free to email us at info@fitandtrimhealth.com. or go online on Groupon, just put Fit and Trim. We're probably going to be the top ones there. And you can buy our deal. Like I said, for a limited time, we're going to do an orientation completely free. We normally charge about $100 for that. We're only going to leave that deal for another year because we definitely want to test other things out that we feel are going to help our community a lot. And always consider those three key points. I guarantee you no other place is giving you that information. They're just going to tell you, take B12, gives you energy, makes you happy, etc. Transaction. But in reality, these 3 things are what really matters. And we've seen the changes of people's life completely. I'm talking about, I was just with Dr. Hidalgo 2 weeks ago speaking about patients that were suffering from hypertension, high blood pressure, almost diabetics. I mean, you're talking about depression. And just because we went through this process with a therapeutic approach, right now he's experiencing the optimization of that patient. Okay? Thank you guys so much for being on this webinar / video / presentation. And I hope you guys find this information extremely valuable. Okay? Thank you very much. Again, go to Groupon.com. You'll find a Fit and Trim deal from there. And I think that that's a great way to get started.